Hello everyone, welcome back to the ZHP Garage. Today we are going to be going and fixing my truck. So there's little perks with having, just like in anything, there's pros and cons to everything. Pros to this, when you drive a stinking car every day, you really fine tune it. But the engine that we have inside of here probably has over 200,000 miles and it's pretty stock on the bottom end. We only changed a couple things when we went through the engine about 3 years ago or something like that. So the car will not start. It'll crank over. We have fuel pressure. We don't know what the heck's going on. So we're gonna dive into this and we're gonna try and get to the bottom of this pretty quickly because I kind of need this to drive because it's the only car I have. It's my daily driver. But let's talk with the master mechanic. Let's see what he has going on. Let's see what he has pulled up on his little laptop here.
So we're checking this thing out. It cranks. It doesn't start. So we're just going through checking the basics. So the key's on right now. So I'm just cranking it over by hand. A little hand deal. Key's on right now. So first I'm gonna check the engine speed. We indeed have engine speed, so we know our crank sensor's good. We have our noise light on our injector pulse. So we know we have injection pulse. So next we'll check the camshaft sensor, which is more likely good because we have injector pulse, but we'll just scroll through. So we have our cam sensor, so it goes both ways. So we indeed have our cam sensor. So next we're going to check the spark. So we're going to hook this guy back up so we know we're getting our injection pulse. So now we need to see what's going on with the coils. You can check for spark at the spark plug. You just put something in there, a little tester or something. So we're just going to use a little screwdriver, a little trick in the tip. Then you just want to be able to arc the screwdriver to a ground. So we'll use this header. Don't hold on to it because it'll really ruin your day. And we're going to crank it over, see if we got any spark. So we got no spark coming out of the coil. So now we're going to check our voltage to our coil. So now we're going to use a meter. You can use a test light, but we're going to use a meter. We're going to check the voltage at the coil. So on the GM, the early ones, the pink wires are your voltage. So each coil has voltage, and then you have your main coming in. So we're going to unplug it here. We're going to check it coming in to the sub harness. So we should have power here. So we're going to ground our meter. We're going to have it on volts. Going to ground, and the key's still on. So we're going to check, do a light touch, don't be cramming it in there. We have 12.14 volts. So we have volts to our coil. So now we're going to check for the ground at the main harness. So the black is the ground right underneath the pink. So we're going to take one side of our meter. First we gotta just take our ground off, take our little alligator clip out. Light probe. We're gonna do, so it's right underneath each other. So black, okay, and then we're gonna do our power. And then we indeed have 12.14 volts. So our ground's good. So now we're gonna do a resistance check from the other wires to the PCM. So 5 wires go to the PCM. So now we're gonna check resistance from here over to the PCM. So we got to disconnect the PCM side. All right, so we have our schematic here. So the first one we're going to check is the purple white. It's going to be in the C2 cavity, which is the red. So we're going to take the red off of the PCM. So the top one's the blue. So we can take the bottom one off as the red. You can see that it is indeed red. Then you can see that we're going to look for, it's in the 66 cavity, and if you look on the back, they're numbered. So 66 is on the bottom right here. So this is our purple white wire right here that we're tracing over to the coil. So we're going to lightly probe this side. You can back probe it, but you can obviously lightly probe it on this side. You don't want to probe it hard because if you expand the pins, then you have a loose pin connection.
Now how the heck long does it take to be able to figure this stuff out?
Just a couple, 2-3 minutes, no big deal. The computer tells you everything you need to know, obviously. Okay, so we're going to set it up to resistance. Okay, so you don't need to move your leads. So you just set it over to resistance. So I'm going to take my little alligator clip and put a needle in the end of it. so I can poke in there without getting crazy. So we got 61, 62, 3, 4, 5, 66. So this guy right here. So from the end, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just put that carefully there. Like that's it. Now we're gonna come over here and look for our purple white, which is right here. So it's right next to our pink. The second cavity over. Okay, it's light touch. So it's not open, so it has continuity. So that's a good wire. So now we're gonna go to the next one. So all of our harness is good from our coil sub harness to our PCM is good. So now it's looking like we have a bad PCM driver for the coils because we have no coils. So now we're gonna have another one. I'm gonna see if I can swap it out and see if that'll take care of the issue. So before I swap out the PCM with the other one I have, I want to check one more thing because you can see that, so the purple white is a control for ignition coil, so ignition coil 8, and then you have, so this one's a control for that coil. And then you have your brown white is your low reference voltage, and they're all tied together for each coil. So I want to check, I want to put the harness back in the PCM, turn the key on, and I want to measure voltage over here at the brown white to see if I have my low voltage reference before I swap the PCM out. So right now I'm going to hook this one back up.
And if you guys want to, go down in the comments, let me know if you know anything about what this guy's saying, because it is flying all over my head right now.
Then we're gonna come, so we're gonna check voltage. So we're gonna go back to voltage. Then we're gonna take our ground. We're gonna put our little alligator clip. We could do it the other way, it would just be a negative, but we're gonna do this the right way. So we're gonna put that to ground, take our other lead. So the brown white is our low reference to the PCM. So we're gonna check our brown white. All right, so we got our brown white. We're gonna give it a probe. That's our reference voltage. Then we check the meter, so we do have a reference voltage. So that's good. So now we're gonna disconnect this one. We're turning the key back off. And this is where it's gonna be a little tricky because this PCM thinks that this is a 03 Suburban with a 5.3 liter in it. So the Tech 2 isn't smart enough to decipher the code, decipher the VIN. I'm not sure what this one is or if it's even unlocked, but we'll see. So we're gonna have to use a generic scan tool to get the VIN so we can use the Tech 2 and see if the anti-theft and everything's turned off.
So basically you're saying you don't know if it'll be able to start with this PCM.
Pretty much. Then we're gonna get a little generic little scan tool. And we're gonna have it automatically decipher what it is. So it's an 02 Chevy Avalanche, V8 with a 5.3. All right, so now we can build that vehicle in Tech 2. So now we're gonna disconnect this guy. So now we got the Tech 2 hooked back up, key back on. So now we're gonna do an 02 Avalanche.
A few moments later.
So what issues are we having right now?
Well, we're still having the same issue. So obviously it's not the PCM, so I'm gonna turn the key off, I'm gonna change that back. I think I'm going to check the cam sensor. Even though I'm getting a signal, I just want to double check and then see what's going on with that. So I want to make sure I have a good ground. It's showing that it has, when I check power ground through here, I had voltage, but that doesn't mean I have a good ground. So I'm checking ground to the block, the harness to the block. So it should be grounded to the block. So I'm just check continuity on the ground wire at the coils. It does have a good ground. So the harness to the coils definitely seems good. So I want to double check the cam sensor. I took it out of the harness, seeing that the harness isn't wrapped up yet. And so I have it right here, so it's really easy, so they're close by. So the cam sensor, you see this in C1. C1's the blue. So first we're gonna check brown white, and it's gonna be at the pin 73 on the C terminal. So this is the C is the blue one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Check the brown white on this side. Wire's good. So the last wire we're checking is in C2. It's in the red connector. So 39 in the red connector, C2. All right, keep searching. We gotta find out what's going on with this thing.
Well, we're gonna sit on this for a day because We've checked everything that we think is the issue. We can't seem to figure it out right now. It's getting a little late here in the garage. We're gonna come back next day and we're gonna try and figure this out.
All right, so it's been a little bit. Come to find out, we got a couple problems going on with this thing. One, it looks like these ground splices in the harness, there's 2 of them. I took them out. I was having an issue with the resistance. I checked the coil over here, the harness, ground, and the resistance would be good, and then it would be bad, and it'd be good, it'd be high, it'd be good. So these had high resistance in it when they put a load on it, and I can't take the thing apart because it's like glued together. So I took these out and grounded it, and then just to make sure, I grounded this coil. I spliced it open and put a jumper on it to ground the coil, and now I have spark, but it still wasn't starting even though I had fuel pressure. So I tried cranking up the fuel pressure to get it to start. So I sprayed a little brake cleaner in the throttle body, and it would start. So it starts. So I have fuel pressure, but not volume. So I got something going on with the fuel system now. So I have spark now, but the fuel pump either is having a volume issue or the new filter got plugged up with some debris from the brand new tank. So now we got to check into that. But now it actually runs by spray a little brake cleaner in the throttle body. So we fixed one problem. Now there's another one. So now we're going to figure out what's going on with the pump. Next time we'll get the pump straightened out, see what's up with that, and we'll get this thing back on the road. So here's with nothing in it. This is what's going on. You can see it has fuel pressure, so I'm going to crank it. See, nobody's home. So I'm going to give it a little helper. Give it a little quick crank. Just so you can see what I was talking about. See, so I have fuel pressure. There's this issue with the volume or something. It's not getting enough. So if I give it a little spray, it starts. So everything's working again. Just got to see what's up with the fuel system now. So that's what I was talking about.
Well, now you got to stay tuned because now we have the fuel pump, fuel rails, fuel line, not the fuel rails, those are perfectly fine. I don't know why there'd be an issue with that. There's something wrong with the fuel system that we're gonna have to fix, so that's gonna be a video in itself. And then also we're gonna have to do some spring cleaning. We're gonna have to fix the PCM and all the wiring. It's been looking ugly for at least over a year now, just sitting in the engine bay, not even mounted in the engine bay. So we got that to fix. And more stuff to do with the Nova. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button here on the channel. It's right down below. It'll be much appreciated, and you'll be able to see content like this every week. A couple videos every week. So hope you guys have a great day. Take care.